I'm the news that nobody expected. I was never a part of your plan. I'm the reason why life as you know it feels like it's slipping through your trembling hands. And the doctors say I'm just an option, a mistake you can make disappear. I may not have a voice, but I'm more than a choice. I'm as real as the heartbeat you hear. So don't close the book on me yet. I've still got a long way to go. Empty pages to fill, and the best part is still down the road. Oh, I am a story untold. I am God's miracle in the making, proof that all things can work for the good. I am fingers and toes, and heaven already knows the name you pick out for me already belongs to me. So don't close the book on me yet. I've still got a long way to go. Empty pages to fill, and the best part is still down the road. Oh, I am a story untold. Every life is sacred, and every life is a gift, and every life deserves a chance to live. I know you're scared, I know you're scared, I know you're scared right now. But when you hear my first cries and when you look in my eyes, you'll understand why you brought me to life. So don't close the book on me yet. I've still got a long way to go. Empty pages to fill, and the best part is still down the road. Oh, I am a story untold. That was yours truly singing Untold, written by Matthew West.
Shalom and welcome to Jewish Pro Life. I'm Cecily Routman, founder and president of the Jewish Pro Life Foundation. We're here for some news, education, enlightenment, and spiritual renewal. At the Jewish Pro Life Foundation, we're saving Jewish lives and healing Jewish hearts by providing the Jewish community with much needed pro life education, pregnancy care and adoption referrals, and healing after abortion. We started our work in 2006 because we were concerned about the high rates of abortion in the Jewish community, the fact that a majority of Jews believes that abortion is morally acceptable at all stages of pregnancy, that this majority vigorously advocates for abortion, and tragically, this leads to more loss of unborn life across all demographics, and it contributes to anti Semitism because people see us in a bad light. Also, we wanted to provide a Jewish pro life voice in the public square. It's estimated that in Israel, 40,000 Jewish children lose their lives to abortion every year. And in America, approximately 17,622 Jewish children lose their lives to abortion every year. But abortion doesn't just take one life, it wipes out entire generations. Many future descendants are lost with each abortion. As Jews, we feel the pain and loss of each and every one. If you are a Jewish parent facing unplanned pregnancy and you can't get the support you need from family, friends, or your shul community, please contact us. We have Jewish friendly pregnancy care resources to help you and can get you connected to them today. Also, we know a Jewish couple who would love to meet you and raise your child in a loving Jewish home. To save your baby's life, please call or text me today at 412-758-3269, or you can email me at cecily@jewishprolifefoundation.org. If you've had an abortion experience and are suffering because of it, we have an excellent, effective healing program specifically designed for Jewish women and men, and it's available to you at no cost, regardless of your level of observance or affiliation. To start your healing journey, please contact me today. The Jewish Pro Life Foundation is a 501c3 educational organization. Since 2006, we've been saving Jewish lives by promoting life saving solutions to unplanned pregnancy in the Jewish community. We provide education about the development, viability, and sanctity of unborn life, as well as traditional Jewish law regarding abortion. We inspire Jews to welcome preborn Jewish children into the inclusive movement of modern Jewish life and religion. We provide adoption and pregnancy care referrals. We teach our community about the harmful effects of abortion and provide support to Jewish women and men who suffer after abortion. We do have a website. It's jewishrolifefoundation.org. For more information, help, and healing, please visit our website today. The Jewish Pro Life Foundation is an educational organization. We have no affiliation with any Jewish denomination, political organization, or the Messianic movement. We speak to each Jew one on one because we believe that each one of us has a personal relationship with Hashem, and it is through this relationship that we derive a life affirming view. We are not a public charity, we do not fundraise. If you'd like to contribute to our work, please visit the donate page on our website. Today we have a special guest who is going to share about her work in the pro life movement. Bonnie Chernin is a Jewish woman who has been actively working to promote life for many years. In fact, Bonnie had a website before I even thought about starting our foundation. Her trailblazing work was an inspiration to me. Thank you for being here, Bonnie.
Thank you, Cecily. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak about the Jewish Life League and the work I've been doing. Thank you.
Well, it's wonderful to have you, and please tell us about yourself and about your work.
I first got involved in 1986. I went to a pro life convention at that time in New Jersey, and I met a woman who wrote a book, Ann Saltenberger. I don't know if you could see this book. Every woman has the right to know the dangers of legal abortion. I read this book probably in one night. I knew, of course, that an unborn child was taken in every abortion, but I really did not know anything about the complications that women endure from abortion, the physical, the emotional, the psychological factors involved. And I learned a lot from this book. And what I learned was very disturbing. And so that propelled me to get more involved and to read more. And then I read, for example, Dr. John Wilkie's Questions and Answers on Abortion and Lyme 5. And by 1992, I was writing articles. I was doing op eds, and I did volunteer work at Manhattan Right to Life. And by the end of the 1990s, that's when I founded Jews for Life. And I went online, I think it was around 1999, and there were a lot of factors that motivated me. I wasn't originally going to start a Jewish pro life site. What motivated me to do this was the fact that there was a letter from the Religious Action Center for Reform Judaism. 729 rabbis, all reform, wrote to the Congress asking them to, in fact, I think I have the letter right here. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to read what it says because it's so important to know about this. And it's the full text of the letter. We are writing to urge you, the Congress, to vote to sustain President Clinton's veto of the so-called partial birth abortion ban. 729 rabbis supporting partial birth abortion, which we know is the most horrific and barbaric act. I wasn't planning to start a Jewish pro life website. I was just planning to get involved, get involved by writing letters, doing op eds. And of course, I was motivated after doing volunteer work for Manhattan Right to Life. But then when I found out that 729 rabbis were supporting partial birth abortion, I thought that was horrible. I couldn't believe 700 from the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism. And they wrote to the Congress urging them to sustain President Clinton's veto of the so-called partial birth abortion ban of 1997. And I just could not believe it. I was horrified. And that's what really got me into the pro life movement in a more active sense. The internet was brand new, pretty much. A lot of people were not on, but I started writing for various online webzines and I began Jews for Life. That's how it all began.
Wow. You were definitely quite a trailblazer, and I'm so glad that Hashem touched your heart because we didn't have any Jewish representation to speak of. In my research, I found that there were a few Jewish people that were involved early back in the day in the 70s, early 70s,
Mhm.
in the early Right to Life movement. But after that, we seem to have completely disappeared until you arrived on the scene.
That's true. And I'm glad I did because I think it's important to speak out on this issue. I think it's very important to be involved. I've been out there doing this for maybe 25, 30 years, and we have made progress. I mean, we really have. I remember in 1990, there were 1.6 million abortions a year. And now I think we're down to what? I mean, not that any abortion, we have to eliminate all abortion. That's my goal. That's my mission to educate and inform people so that they can know the horrors of legal abortion. But we have cut the numbers quite a bit. And I think activism, political activism, getting involved in legislation. Look what happened just in the past week. I mean, we had an election. We don't know what's going to happen with President Trump at this point. You know, it's still in the courts. But the Susan B. Anthony list, they have 17 brand new women, all pro-life, that were voted into the United States House of Representatives, and I just think that's fantastic. I really do. And we also have to work on the local level. What comes to mind are organizations like 40 Days for Life, where they do vigils. And I think the important thing is to change people's hearts first. Then we could get to people's minds, but we have to present the facts, the truth, and get people involved, especially young people. Very important.
Yes, well, you have so much information to share with us. I know that trying to share this message to the general public has been making inroads. I think we are making some improvements. The polls show that the majority of Americans now are against, for example, late term abortion, which is an improvement. At least they're becoming more aware. Our
Yes.
work here at the foundation is trying to educate Jewish people. And the majority of us has been completely bamboozled by the propaganda of abortion. It's very difficult to change 50 to 60 years of propaganda.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're fighting against big abortion. We're fighting against Planned Parenthood, against the National Abortion Federation. It's unbelievable. They pour billions of dollars over the years into these elections of pro abortion politicians. What I try to do is I'm trying to reach out to Jewish women, Jewish men, let them know that there are alternatives. I know about your Tikvat Rachel program. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's fantastic as an alternative, that women know that there's healing out there, that they don't have to choose abortion, that people care, and that there are pro life alternatives. And it could be discouraging. You read articles in liberal newspapers. I know I read something in the New York, I think it was the New York Jewish Week, where they said, oh, Jews are relieved about the election results, about Biden. This is what we're up against. But I think I have a positive outlook. I really do. I believe that we're making a difference, we're making inroads. And like you say, we're changing hearts and minds. And that's what's really critically important.
Yes, that is. I know that I am heartened by the number of supporters we have now. Not necessarily financial supporters, but moral support that we
Mm.
get. Every day, there's somebody else that is happy with what we're doing, wants to give us moral support, wants to give me some information that I can share. Just the other day, one of our friends sent me an article that used Torah to somehow or another come up with legal abortion in Judaism. And I thought, oh my, we are such a creative bunch, aren't we? And so, I can share that with people and say, this just is not Judaism. The bottom line is that actually Judaism has always prohibited abortion. It was the first religion in human history to sanctify human life and prohibit child sacrifice. And
That's
this
right.
is the message that we have to give people, Jewish people, and also Gentile people who are confused about Jewish people. Haven't you heard believing Christians and Catholics? They don't understand why so many Jews are so radical about abortion rights, considering our history.
I never understood that. I've read a lot of books about why Jews historically, why the Jewish people are liberal and why they're entrenched in terms of their voting. They are attached to the Democrat Party. I could explain, probably going back to immigration in the early 19th century, why it is that Jews became so liberal, but why it is that they've become radically pro abortion. I don't have an answer for that. I've never been able to figure it out. I think perhaps they see the woman as the primary victim. In this case, the woman gets pregnant and they just want her to have the rights. But it's not just the Jewish community. Unfortunately, when something is legal, when you have abortion legal and it becomes a right in people's mind, they don't want to change this. It becomes embedded in the way that they think, and they don't think that there should be any other alternatives. I know that way back in, I think it was 1970, there was a Lewis Harris poll which showed that 76% of American Jews favored abortion. 76%. Today I read that it's somewhere around 83%. Now, these numbers are outrageous. They're too high. And we have to educate people, as you say, about the Torah, about traditional, authentic Judaism, and that there's absolutely nothing in the Torah that would ever, Exodus 21 is often misquoted. They use Exodus 21 to try to say that the unborn child means nothing. No, not true. Exodus 21 is about a miscarriage. Also, I once was listening to I think it was Rabbi Akiva Tatz, who was talking about Exodus 21. The reason there's a financial penalty, and this is something that the pro boards always talk about, the reason there's a financial penalty and not capital punishment when the unborn child is a victim of a miscarriage, you don't really know if the unborn child would have been born. There's a
Hmm.
born alive rule, which means that you have to be able to prove that it was the crime that caused the child to be lost. That's the only reason that there's a financial penalty. It does not mean that the unborn child does not have value. It does not mean that its life is not sacred. In Judaism, all life is sacred. You could even violate the Shabbos. You could violate the Shabbos and holidays in order to save the life of an unborn child. I try to get that point across to people when I speak to them.
So do I. One thing that's really helped me in our work is that I can be happy to be Jewish. In my history, I had disengaged from Judaism several times. And then
Mm,
I would come back, and then I would leave, and then I would come back. As you know, most secular American Jewish people, I was ambivalent about my faith.
mm,
I have a connection with Hashem, a personal connection. I feel that very strongly, but I wanted to be affiliated. When I became aware of this issue in 2005, it just all of a sudden hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, wow, I don't know if I can be part of a religion or a theology that believes that there's no criminal liability, there's no consequence at all for taking the lives of all these innocent human beings. That was one of my motivations for starting the Jewish Pro Life Foundation. I needed to build what I call a rabbinistry, a pro life rabbinistry, so that I would have fellowship of like minded Jews. And I didn't know anybody except for Rabbi Novak, who agreed to be on our board, who had pro life, life affirming sentiments as a Jew. I just took it on faith that there were other ones out there. And I'm so glad that I did because now I don't have to hide my head in shame when I'm talking to people who accuse Judaism of being something that it's not. I just say to them, well, that's fake Judaism. That's what's been given to us, and it's not real. One of the rabbis that I talked to in New York explained some of this disconnect. The Holocaust destroyed so many righteous leaders in the Jewish community that after that, we had just so few to carry the message of what Judaism is actually all about. And so that left this vacuum for secular Jews to step in who were looking for leadership positions in the Jewish community. And so that's partly how that happened. And I think it's wonderful. I know on your website as well as on mine, we do promote Jews in leadership positions who have a life affirming view.
Right. Well, when I started, I'm the rabbi that I knew who was involved in pro-life work was Rabbi Yehuda Levin. I think he's still out there. I know he's attended the March for Life several times, and now Rabbi Nassan Leiter, he's out there. He's pro-life there, and the rabbis on your board, of course. There are many people out there who are pro-life, and I know that in my own circle of friends when I speak to them about this issue, many of them have changed. Many of them, when they know the facts, change. The only people I find that it's difficult to work with are people who are really, really militant about abortion rights. We have to try to, I think, speak with people who are in the middle, on the fence, who really don't know the details about dismemberment abortions, about what partial birth abortion really does, and about the fact that abortion has always been legal. Because of Doe v. Bolton, abortion has always been legal for all 9 months of pregnancy. And it's so important to keep informing people and to bring as many people to this righteous cause. Very important. And that's what I'm trying to do. I inform people. I write articles all the time, as you know. I'm always writing. I just wrote 2 articles about the election, but that alone is not going to do it. We have to be actively involved in some way, shape, or form. I think getting active, being proactive, and not getting depressed about elections, just to keep working to save the unborn. And the more people that come over to our side, the more unborn children we're going to be able to save. That's where I'm at with that.
Yes, I think it's very important to rehumanize the baby in the womb. This
Yes.
has been so successful in terms of the abortion industry propaganda. All of a sudden, it's not a person. And whatever it is, it doesn't have any dignity, value, or worth, and there's no obligation to protect that child. But once we can rehumanize and redefine that child as it really is, it's a baby, it's a human baby at an earlier stage of development, I think people will be more compassionate and feel more obligated to protect it. While it's nothing and nothing, they don't feel that sense of responsibility to protect that child. That's one of the reasons why on our mission statement, I try to encourage Jews to include unborn children in this inclusive movement of modern Jewish life. Everybody's included
Yes.
except this one demographic, and because they don't seen as people. And I just love showing pictures of unborn children, ultrasound pictures, and I just found another website, babycenter.com. They have beautiful pictures of children inside the mother. I mean, who knew? I have a very good friend who's for choice, very strongly for choice. She loves dogs, and I was talking to her one day about this. I wasn't getting through to her. And finally I said, well, just substitute the word puppy for baby. And her eyes got so wide. And she said, now that I'd be against that.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think the reason your friend was suddenly moved by what you said is because you were talking about something that was close to her. You were talking about the puppy, substitute baby for puppy. And you know what? Show people ultrasounds. These 4 and 5D ultrasounds from the very earliest stages of pregnancy. You see clearly the humanity of the child. You see the eyes, the nose, the fingers developing, the heartbeat, which I think now science has determined is as early as 18 days after conception. It's really important to let people know about this and also to let them know how far abortion has gone, that we have 62 million dead children. We've destroyed future generations. It's horrible. And 62 million dead children for choice. For choice. It just makes no sense to me. And as you say, rehumanizing the unborn child, that's a good way of putting it. That's a good way of expressing exactly the way we have to promote our message. We have to stay positive.
Yes, one of the things that I'm trying to do as well now is to include the father of the child in the language that we use here because the father is a very important part of the picture. And I think we have demonized men because of the pro abortion language. And there
Absolutely.
are so many men out there that have been hurt by the mother of their child getting abortions without their say.
I have a personal friend that happened to years ago. He was married, happily married, he thought, and his wife left him for a woman. She was a lesbian. She left him, and when she did, they had had a fight. He didn't know it, but she had an abortion. He desperately wanted to have children with her. And literally on the way out the door, she said to him, "Just so you know, I killed your child and I
Oh,
was happy to do it." And I'm not joking. I wrote an article about it on my website. You could find it on my blog. This happened, and I think fathers' rights are so important. I mean, they are half of the child. The mother is carrying the child, but genetically, we have to remember. And in terms of the emotional attachment, many men want to get involved. And I think when women cavalierly just decide to have abortions for choice, men are disenfranchised the same way many voters are disenfranchised in elections. Men are disenfranchised from this choice that a woman is making. They want to care for the child. Abortion destroys families. It destroys family ties. It destroys relationships. And I feel passionate about bringing men into the picture. There's a website I found. You may want to check it out. It's called Pro Life Man. Pro Life Man. And I think the man who started it, I don't know if he was impacted by an abortion in his life, but he wanted to get involved. He felt that fathers should have rights. And there are many other organizations as well, but I like that one. I've been to their site a number of times. It's very interesting to hear their viewpoint and the heartbreak that they suffer when the women that they love have abortions and they're willing to take care of these children.
right. Yes, there's so many inequities in this from the very start. You mentioned our healing program, Tikvat Rachel, and we
Yes.
do try to offer that to Jewish women and men. Even a sister that brought her sister to the abortion clinic and now feels badly about it. She can go through the program. How many grandparents? I've had calls from women, several women whose mother took them to the abortion clinic. And this
Mm.
has destroyed the relationship with their mother and, because the trust is broken, these mothers of these mothers felt that they did the right thing. This happens a lot. The young woman is vulnerable and scared, and her mother thinks that she's doing her a favor so her life won't be ruined. I was having a discussion about this with an Orthodox Jewish person who said that this is one of the main justifications for abortion now in the Orthodox community. The young adults become defiant at some point. They want to experiment with more liberal lifestyles, and then they come back and they're with child. And parents believe that if they don't take care of this problem through abortion, their daughter's future is ruined. She won't be able to marry a nice Jewish boy and have a nice family and be respected in the community. My heartbreak is okay, that might be true, but remember your Judaism. Remember that this is a child made in the image of God who has a destiny here and we shouldn't interfere with it. There are people that would happily adopt that child, and it never has to be known from what family it came. But this is my heartbreak that alternatives to abortion are not automatically thought of. The automatic response is the abortion, and it's senseless, and it's better dealt with in a life affirming way.
I couldn't have said it better. I agree with you wholeheartedly on this. One of the tragedies about abortion is the time element.
Mm.
When you're talking about making a quote unquote choice, it's a woman has to, or a girl has to make this decision very, very quickly. She has no time to think it out. She has no time to get to a rabbi, to speak to a religious authority, somebody who could guide her in the right direction, because you're trying to make this decision under stress. Also, there are hormones in the early stage of pregnancy. There's one specific hormone, a friend of mine who's in the medical field. She was telling me that I think it's the hormone HCG. I'm not sure, but I think that's it. Don't quote me on that. I'm just mentioning it because my friend is a health administrator. And she said that in the early stages of pregnancy, women are confused because of their hormones. They're all over the place and they may make decisions that they regret. And this is not like going out and saying, okay, I'm going to buy a red dress instead of a blue dress, or I'm going to, choose a Coke over a Pepsi. When it's a choice like that, you could always repair the choice. But when you're talking about broken relationships and broken trust that's been violated, how do you repair that? How do you repair that trust? And another thing that's so important and so critical, and of course, abortion clinics will never tell this to a girl getting an abortion. A, she may never have another child. This may be her only opportunity to have a child. You can't undo it. Number two, that child will never exist again. Did you ever hear pro aborts when they say, oh, you could always have another baby? But it's not this baby. It's not this baby. This baby is unique, its own genetics, its own DNA. And I believe it should be protected from conception onward for all reasons, except, of course, in the very, very rare instance in Judaism, as you know, to save the mother's life. That's it. That's the only time.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem.
It's
Yes.
beautiful. I'm so happy that we're talking about this. These conversations are few and far between among Jewish women.
Mhm. It's true.
I hope that Hashem broadcasts this around the world on the internet so people have a model. I think we're presenting as basically intelligent, reasonable people. We're not the enemy of women and children. Another argument is better to terminate this child than bring it into an unpredictable world or a life of poverty or abuse, whatever. But,
Mhm.
abortion is the ultimate child abuse. And where there's life, there's possibility and opportunity. But where there's no life, there's nothing. There's no hope of any improvement in the world, right?
On my website, I say save one child and you save an entire world. Every child makes a difference. And as you say, every child is wanted. There is always adoption, always help. And women really, and girls especially, it breaks my heart when I hear about girls, young girls, 13, 14 years old, having abortions. And I don't know. It's just something that we have to really change. We have to work on people's hearts, on their minds, and we have to give them all the information we can. They have to be aware of all the life affirming options that are out there. So I'm with you on that. And your
Yes.
program, I think, is wonderful. I've read it. You know that. You've sent it to me. I'd like to get another copy. And I think, that's something I would be. Listen, I'm in New York City. So if you need help with that, any kind of facilitation of that, I'd be happy to work with you on that.
Okay, yes, I'll get that to you. And I think before we leave, one thing I want to do share is that our outreach is done in a loving way. I've become more loving and kind through my pro life work. And I'm accepting that people think in a way that I feel is destructive to one's soul, families, communities, and our relationship with Hashem. I believe that. But I don't hold anger or hostility to people that do believe that. For one thing, in my past, I was neutral at best about abortion.
Hmm.
That was not the right attitude to take, but I was uninformed and uneducated and uninterested, really. So if I was like that and I was able to see the truth and become involved, I know that there are many people, Jewish and non-Jewish, believe what they believe and they believe in how they believe. But if they're approached in a kind and tolerant way, they can come to see this point of view. One thing's for sure, we all started inside the womb. And so we can really empathize with these kids in the womb. We were all there once. We all started there. It's really humbled me because who am I? Who's anybody really to say who gets to live and who gets to die?
Hmm. Yes.
The other thing that I always think about is God is real. To me, the abortion issue is also about a spiritual bankruptcy because if we can see a situation and it looks bleak to us and challenging and desperate, but providence is always there. And I believe that through our pro life work, we bring people into a more positive relationship with God. And people have more faith and there's more possibilities than we could even dream of, right? Our limited minds, as intelligent as we are, right? We are limited in our intelligence, and God can see a future and a wonderful future for everyone. And I like emphasizing that in our work. It makes me feel good, and it makes, I hope, people that I interact with feel good too.
Yes, I feel the same way. In fact, when you think of people who were not neutral, but really on the other side, people like Abby Johnson, who was a director of Planned Parenthood, and she's not Jewish, but she came over to our side, and now she has an organization, and she's brought over abortionists who are no longer doing abortions because I don't know what their reasons are. It might be because they realize suddenly that they're doing something horrible, that they're killing children. It might be because they came to God. Hopefully, that's the reason. But the important thing is, I feel in my work a closeness to God. I don't think that we could look at this just in terms of statistics and numbers. We can't just say, okay, there's 62 million abortions. What are we going to do? We have to bring the numbers down. Of course we do. But we have to work on people, on their hearts. We have to inform them and we have to bring them to God. I strongly believe in that. And that's one of the mainstays of my work. That's one of the things that I'm trying to do, inform people of the Jewish traditional, authentic pro-life belief. And that's where I'm at. And that's what I hope to do, to continue to get people to understand what the importance of saving unborn children. It's for our future. It's for our future generations. You know, it's such a destructive force, abortion, and we have to change that. And I think that's what we're doing. I do.
You are an inspiration to me, and I only hope that I can keep marching along as long as you've been doing this, and I hope that you'll give me some inspiration moving forward. I know your website is beautiful. Tell us what the name of your website is again and how we can contact you.
Okay. My website is jewishlifeleague.org. Jewishlifeleague.org. You could even get there typing in
Mm.
jewsforlife.org, which is a little easier to remember. It's jewishlifeleague.org. And I could be reached at info@jewishlifeleague.org.
Okay, jewishlifeleague.org and info@jewishlifeleague.org, right?
Yes.
Bonnie, is there anything else you'd like to share with us before we close our interview?
Yes. I want everybody to keep the faith, to keep their belief in God strong, to keep hoping and praying that we could end abortion. I believe, however, it's really important to stop abortions, to prevent abortions by informing people, getting them informed so that they know that there are other alternatives. This to me, and getting them to feel closer to God. And I always talk about, of course, I always bring the religious components, the fact that it's so important to know that Judaism is a pro-life religion going all the way back. And I always bring that into the picture, but I also think it's so important to realize that even if we're not ending abortion right now, at this moment, we can prevent abortions. We can help girls who feel that they're desperate and that they need help. There's help for them. There are life affirming choices. And that's what I hope to inform people about.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Bonnie, for being here. This has been great, and please, we'll have to do it again.
Oh, absolutely. I love this. Thank you, Cecily. God bless you. And thank you for all the work you're doing. And hopefully we could work together in the future. That's what I would like.
For sure. Thank you, Bonnie, so much, and we'll be in touch.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye. That was Bonnie Chernin. Wasn't that delightful? She is just a beautiful person. So brave, so strong, and such an inspiration. We can only pray that more Jewish women will come on board and talk the language of love and compassion and life. We do want to share about our pro life rabbis before we close. Rabbi David Novak is professor of religion and philosophy at the University of Toronto and a member of the University College and Joint Center for Bioethics. He is available to discuss Jewish theology, ethics, bioethics, natural law theory, and Jewish Christian relations. Please email Rabbi Novak at david.novak@utoronto.ca. Rabbi Shlomo Nachman is available to speak on the sanctity of human life in Judaism, what it means to be Jewish, the benefits of prayer, Jewish Christian relations, and welcoming Noahadim into fellowship. You can connect with Rabbi Nachman's busy online shul, Beit Emunah, at learnamunah.com or email him directly at rabbi@beitemunah.org. Rabbi Menashe Bovit is the spiritual leader of Bella Rose Jewish Center in Queens, New York. He educates using traditional texts, history, anthropology, archaeology, and modern academic biblical studies. Rabbi Bovit is a strong advocate of the State of Israel. He's active in interfaith activities, and he's president of the Eastern Queens Interfaith Council. Please email Rabbi Bovit at bellaroserabbi@yahoo.com. We did mention our healing program during the interview, Tikvat Rachel. It offers a healing pathway for Jews who seek a confidential, safe, accepting Jewish program to address the deeply personal issues that arise after abortion. The program is based on Teshuvah and the promise of healing in Judaism. We also offer post-abortion grief training for rabbis, therapists, and counselors. Start your healing journey by contacting us to share your personal story with a friend who cares. The calls and texts and emails are confidential, caring, and safe. You can call me at 412-758-3269 or email me at cecily@jewishprolifefoundation.org. Please join us on January 29th, 2021 for the annual March for Life, where we participate to show Jewish support for the most defenseless humans among us. We provide a handheld sign for you to carry. Check out the calendar page on our website for itinerary updates. If you can't travel to Washington, D.C. and would like to attend a local March for Life in your area, the calendar page also has a link to local marches, and we will send you a sign upon request. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Please visit our website, jewishlifeleague.org. You can go to the library to download our PowerPoint and healing program. You can request a welcome packet at our website, and please check out our Pro-Life Rabbis page, the Pro-Life blog, and our Jewish-friendly pregnancy care and adoption resources. Be sure to visit our worship page where you can learn more about Beit Emunah, a life-affirming shul that welcomes and affirms Jewish pro-life advocates, former abortion advocates, and those who suffer from an abortion experience or from involvement with an abortion decision. Also, please subscribe to our podcast, Jewish Pro-Life, where we upload the audio of our shows. At the Jewish Pro-Life Foundation, we are making the original pro-life religion pro-life again.
I'm the news that nobody expected. I was never a part of your plan. I'm the reason why life as you know it feels like it's slipping through your trembling hands. And the doctors say I'm just an option, a mistake you can make disappear. I may not have a voice, but I'm more than a choice. I'm as real as the heartbeat you hear. So don't close the book on me yet. I've still got a long way to go. Empty pages to fill, and the best part is still down the road. Oh, I am a story untold. I am God's miracle in the making, proof that all things can work for the good. I am fingers and toes, and heaven already knows the name you pick out for me already belongs to me. So don't close the book on me yet. I've still got a long way to go. Empty pages to fill, and the best part is still down the road. Oh, I am a story untold. Every life is sacred, and every life is a gift, and every life deserves a chance to live. I know you're scared, I know you're scared, I know you're scared right now. But when you hear my first cries and when you look in my eyes, you'll understand why you brought me to life. So don't close the book on me yet. I've still got a long way to go. Empty pages to fill, and the best part is still down the road. Oh, I am a story untold. May there be abundant peace from heaven and good life upon us and upon all Israel. Amen.